What's up guys, this is level 1 in object-oriented thinking curriculum, and today we're going to talk about the way you can excel in your computer by using a terminal or a command line. Let's go! Many people that I know who aren't techy enough when seeing the terminal command line are instantaneously think that you are currently hacking the Pentagon or at least breaking into somebody's Facebook account, but in reality you are just trying to ping yourself. So let's move from the dark to light and actually understand what happens in the black shady window of a terminal. In reality, it is way simpler than you're probably thinking. On a daily basis, you're browsing for the folders on your computer, but little did you know that you're actually just using a graphical layer built on top of the operating system. And you could potentially get more out of your computer and use the terminal. Using the terminal command line, you could do exact same things that you normally do, with a little exception. You have to type the commands. And you're probably like, what? Why in the world would I want to type the commands? I have this beautiful user interface that I can exploit. Well, the answer is quite simple. You really don't, unless you want to do something that by default is not allowed or available in the interface. The command line gives you that flexibility and power that you normally do not have access to. If you're not an advanced user, most likely all the programs that you're using have a graphical interface or GUI, and you're probably fine with that. However, now I will unleash the power of the advanced technologies on you and show you why would you use the terminal. So what are actual powers of the terminal? For example, it can help you find hidden cats on your computer. To do so, you need to tell the terminal what is the directory you are working in using the cd command and copying the path to it right after the name of the command. cd means the current directory, so this command will tell the computer which directory we are working with. Then goes the magic. We're gonna use ls command with the -a parameter that will unveil the hidden files on the current directory. And there is our hidden cat. Let's type open followed by the name of the file to see the cat. As you can see, the file was not in the directory, but using the terminal, we can unveil the hidden files and work with it. Now, imagine a program that does not have an interface. Yeah, there are many programs like that, maybe even more than those that do have a nice UI. This means by learning how to use the terminal, you would open a whole new world of other programs that you've never used before, such as developer tools, accent stability utilities, and many others. Moreover, some programs that actually do have an interface might have an option to run in a different mode when executed from the command line. So the advantage of CLI or command line interface programs is that to specify the input parameter, you don't need to press buttons in the visual interface. You're probably like, what? How is it an advantage? And I will tell you how. What if instead of a human typing the input for the program, there would be another program? So if you have two programs doing two different tasks, a human would need to open it one after the other and input the information manually by pressing the buttons. At the same time, using the terminal, you could tell it to run both of the programs back to back using each other's output as a new input and hence produce a new result. So imagine we have two programs. The first program is taking two numbers and output the result of the addition. The second program is only taking a one number and squares it. If you had to do it by yourself without the command line, you would run the first program, then memorize or copy a result of it somewhere, then run the second program, enter the result you saved, and now get a new number. This would take a while, however, there is an easy way we could work around that using the terminal. Here we have two programs called sum and square. As you can see from the name sum, it sums up two numbers, and the square program gives you a square of a number. Now let's see them in action. If you run this program from the interface, you will not see anything worth looking because the program simply does not have a graphical interface. So you cannot input the number to add up using the pretty buttons like in a normal calculator. In this case, we have to use the command line and specify the number we want to sum up by typing them in manually. Let's open the terminal in the folder where we have our programs. Think of a terminal as a tool that can do extra stuff in the folder you have selected. To open a folder in the terminal, you will need to enter the command cd, which means current directory, and paste the path. So in this case, cd is our command name and the path is our argument. We can have as many parameters or arguments as we want, but it's strictly dependent on the command or program we're trying to use. After typing the command, the terminal now knows that we want to work in this concrete folder. But the problem is that we do not see the files inside of this directory. So to see the files, we just need to type the command ls. ls means list. The command simply lists all the files in directories at the path that you entered as an argument to a cd command previously. And now it's time to unleash the power of the terminal and run the program. Do not worry if you cannot do it. Statistically, 102% of the people cannot physically do this task due to its complexity. And it's done. It's done, and now let's switch to an MIT level of understanding and square the number of 3. Alright, now that you've gone through the most difficult part, let's put it together, and now we want to make the computer save the result for you. Then take the result, the number 3, 1 plus 2, right? And square it so we have number 9. And all of this using just one command. But before that, let's observe the command we're about to use. Okay, we understand square and sum, but what is the $ and the brackets? Essentially, it's just a wrapper that we're using to tell the terminal that everything that happens inside of these brackets would be temporarily stored in the computer's memory. And we have sum 1, 2 inside of the brackets. It would make sense to say that the computer is going to remember number 3 because the result of the calculation 1 plus 2 is 3. But then we have square and this $ after it. This means that instead of a specific number, the square program will need to use the result of the sum that is already stored in the computer's memory. First, the terminal will execute the command you entered in the brackets, that is sum. It is because the square program is now dependent on the result of the sum, so we simply cannot square before we know the number to square, right? So right after the sum program has calculated the 1 plus 2, that is 3, the result, the number 3, will be passed to a square program that is going to do its thing. Now, let's see it in action. Congratulations! Now that you've gone through the basics of the terminal, you're one step closer on the way of becoming a real advanced user. And now, it's time for the summary. So essentially, using the terminal, you can do exact same things you normally do, like creating files, creating folders, navigating through them, all the stuff with extension, because terminal gives you more options that are normally not available for a user. And commands that you need to know for now is the basic commands, cd, which selects the current directory that you're going to be working in, and all the subsequent commands will be working from that directory you've selected. And ls command lists all the files in that current directory, and -a parameter lists all the hidden files and hidden directories. To run a program on macOS and Linux, you would go /name of the program in the terminal. When on Windows, you will just go program name .exe or just a program name. It will be exact same. Thanks for watching. That's it for today. Thumbs up if you like it, follow if you aren't following yet, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Dance Dev. See ya.